Hello and welcome to my video. I will be going over Townscaper today. I haven't played much of this game, but it's a game that I've been interested in for quite a while, and I also haven't made a video in quite a while, so I figured, hey, now's the time to do it. Now is the time to do something like this. So first of all, it's a game with no point. Oh, let me turn on the audio. Oh, do you hear that click? These are just such satisfying sounds. Oh my. So this is not a game that has like an actual point. It's a game that has that is more about like spending time building something beautiful and like relaxing and just testing out the limits of this game, and all of it is done for like this pure enjoyment of just working on this like small creation. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Legos, to be honest. I build stuff with Legos with my kids. Oh, I gotta turn this down. It is... Maybe it's just my volume, actually. Hold on. Okay. Whoops. So I build stuff with Legos with my kids, and most of the time we just use like the Lego chest pieces, which is like a bunch of different pieces, and you're supposed to be very creative with it. And it's not there for you to build like these amazing I don't know, like it's not there for you to follow some guide and build this amazing complicated structure. It's there for you to kind of like be creative, like figure out what it is that you like about those pieces and how you want to put them together. And that's the same case here, right? Like I feel like it's exactly that here, where you can have a purpose, and obviously just like with Legos, you can plan out like really complicated stuff. You can but you can also just like mess around and really not do much with it. This over here is a monstrosity that I created whilst I was on Discord voice chat. So I get together with some of my friends, mostly my colleagues, and we hang out and we chat. But it's always nice to have something to kind of like watch, because it kind of does away with any awkward silences that might come up, and that do come up during like remote discussions and when you're hanging out or whatever. It's always good to have something to look at and something to discuss when you run out of topics or whatever. That sounds like I run out of topics with people all the time. But it's the same as like when you go to a cafe with friends. You have the food to talk about. You have the scenery, other people that you see whenever you run out of topics, or whenever you're just like, you know what, I want to change the topic and I don't know what I want to change it to, or whatever else. So I find that this is a cool game to just have in the background while you're hanging out with your friends on Discord, which I'm sure many of us do a lot more of these days because of the pandemic. So in this game, you can build towns. Let's start a new one. And you build towns on this like grid, and we can display this grid somehow. Whoa. There it is. Yeah, so you build a town on top of this grid. Looks like anytime that there's like a cross, that's where you can actually build something. And you can see that the pieces are uneven, so you get a little bit more of a fluidity. It's not just like a square grid, right? I don't like building with grid because it takes away from some of the imagination. All you really do in this game is add pieces, and you either add them horizontally, or you can always go vertically. And there are some rules. You can kind of see that like as you build, things add together, and at some point they kind of change structure. So you see how it went from, hey, this is a big house, to, and this is a bigger house. Interesting. So you kind of like learned all these different rules of how you can cheat the system to build something slightly different than what the default option would be. Like, you can build all these things here. You can't build a structure on a second level by itself. You have to first build it up and then basically kill its support. So it's kind of fun, like finding out about the rules of this game and building something really nice on top of those rules. So you can add and delete. Left click is to add, right click is to delete. When you press both left and right click together, you can kind of move around the map. If you press just left click and drag, you can kind of look around. This looks like a really, I don't know, peaceful, fun island. You can do screenshots. That's kind of fun that they have this here. Let's see. There was something else. Oh yeah, you can change kind of like the angle of the sun, and if it's like sunrise or sunset, which I find really just cool. And I love messing around with these settings. So yeah, that's kind of my quick little review of this game. I find that you can build all kinds of amazing stuff with it. I like building these like small islands. It reminds me of another game called Summer and Mara, where it's all these like tiny little beautiful islands. You know, except they don't have any ridiculous architecture like this. I mean, look at what you can do here. Right? You have these like 2 legs that are holding up the rest of this. You know, obviously it doesn't follow the rules of physics, but that's okay. Yeah. It's also fun that once you do get started with it, there are a lot of like YouTube channels that are dedicated to building the most ridiculous things. I saw a floating island idea, which was essentially like having 2 little islands far away from each other. I guess I'm at the edge of the map. I am not. Okay. And then, you know, you can do the stilts, but you can do it far enough, high enough that it makes it look like it's a floating island. So, check this out. Right. I didn't watch the entire video, so I can't remember all of it. But you can kind of see my point here. Let's see if we can connect these. Bam. Yeah. And you can build off of that too. You can build a whole grid. And one interesting rule about this game too is that if you have an enclosed grid, let's go ahead and make a whole platform out of this, our little floating island. If you have an enclosed grid of houses, you can, let's see, whoops. I have a bad mouse, so I misclick sometimes. This is so cool. You can kind of see it has like an observatory here, but you connect it and it becomes a park. And you can build inside of that park too. If we make it one grid, like one piece bigger. Oops. Whoa, did not mean to do that. So that there's enough space for, in the middle, you can have a nice little house in the middle of that park. I've seen like YouTube creators, there we go, build some amazing things in Townscaper, like rebuilding, I think Venice, I saw one of those, and it's kind of chill to watch, and like I said, it's really chill to play with whenever you're hanging out with people on like voice chat, and you want to figure out, you know, you want to just have something playing in the background, so to speak. I highly recommend it. I think it was like just $7 or $8 on Steam. It's very well worth the purchase. So that's my quick little review here.